from Israel, from Syria, and from Lebanon, and is here to brief you on his trip. Jean-Pierre, please.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. Well, actually, I visited Lebanon and Syria. I was planning to visit Israel, but due to the events, I couldn't. But I will be in touch with the Israeli officials via VTC over the next couple of days. So briefly, the visit to Lebanon had, first of all, a goal of visiting our colleagues in UNIFIL, of course, interacting with the authorities. UNIFIL has been working very hard over the last couple of months following the cessation of hostilities. I believe that there are a number of achievements that have been realized with the support of UNIFIL. This is what we can observe on the ground. The Lebanese armed forces have continued to strengthen their presence south of the Litani River, and that has happened with the support of UNIFIL. There has been additional action with a view to identify and eventually neutralize caches of weapons, which is an important element in the implementation of Resolution 1701. UNIFIL also continues to play a critical role of liaison and deconfliction between the Lebanese armed forces and the Israeli Defense Forces, and they also do a lot in terms of supporting rehabilitation, supporting the population, which is something that UNIFIL colleagues have always been doing, including, of course, with the critical role in terms of mine action and clearing roads. Now, I think it's important to highlight these achievements, although we know that more needs to be done to achieve the full implementation of Resolution 1701. There continues to be violation. There continues to be more that needs to be done, again, to achieve a full implementation of that resolution. Now, another but related aspect was that my visit coincided with the last days in office of Force Command General Arnaldo Lázaro, and I was privileged to attend a farewell reception that was given to him by the Lebanese authorities, and I also, of course, had my meeting with the Lebanese authority in the presence of General Lázaro, and I could see the highest level of appreciation expressed by the Lebanese authorities and frankly all Lebanese interlocutors and also the diplomatic communities. So of course this is completely consistent with our own very high level of appreciation to General Lázaro, who was at the head of UNIFIL during extremely challenging time. And at the same time, of course, we very much welcome General Abbagnara from Italy, who just take over as the new force commander, head of UNIFIL. Of course, we wish you all the very best, and we have started working very closely with him as we move forward. Now, another important element, of course, was interacting with the Lebanese authorities, and the unanimous message I heard about from them about UNIFIL was their view that there continues to be a critical need for the continuous presence of UNIFIL. That was stated to me very clearly and absolutely unequivocally by all Lebanese interlocutors, starting with President Aoun, the Prime Minister, the Speaker, all the ministers, the High Command of the Lebanese Armed Forces. And I see that the Lebanese government has just sent a letter to the Security Council today expressing their wish that for a continuation of UNIFIL's presence in Lebanon. Of course, all of these doesn't mean that Lebanon shouldn't continue to evolve. UNIFIL has done a lot to evolve with the adaptation plan, and I believe that the outcome is there already for everyone to see, and further efforts at evolving and adapting, of course, are absolutely warranted, of course, also based on the evolution of the situation in Lebanon. Now, I have to say that, as we all know, I mean, we do some contingency planning for the case where missions would not receive all the cash that is provided for them in the budget for the next budget cycle, July 1st to June 30th, 2026. And of course, I have indicated to the authorities that I met that we have to do this, and if we were to implement these plans, then the only reason would be lack of cash. And as you know, we are all operating under a severe liquidity constraint. Now, that is it for Lebanon. As far as Syria is concerned, then again, I visited both the UN peacekeepers there, UNDOF, as well as the Syrian authorities, the interim authorities. UNDOF continues to play a role that is critically important and recognized as such, liaising between the Syrian authorities on one hand and the Israeli authorities on the other hand, and doing their best to deconflict. As you know, the force is operating in a changed environment, where on the one hand, of course, there was this change in the political dispensation in Syria, but also the presence of the Israeli Defense Forces in the area of so-called area of separation, where, according to the 1973 Disengagement of Forces Agreement, only UNDOF can be present with the military presence. And of course, the presence of the IDF in those areas is a violation. It's quite clear, and of course I've been sharing this repeatedly with the Israeli interlocutors. UNDOF also plays an important role in, and I would say since the change in the political dispensation of Syria, an increased role in trying to support the population with the Quick Impact Project, interacting with them, and also relaying their complaint to the Israeli authorities, because in some cases we received complaint from the Syrian population in the area where UNDOF is present as a result of the activity or some activities of the IDF, and we've been conveying those to the Israeli interlocutors. Now, we, of course, I interacted with the Syrian authorities, with the interim president and the minister, and they expressed support to UNDOF, also in a very clear and unequivocal manner. I thanked interim President Shara and the ministers for the excellent relation that was established between UNDOF and the Syrian authorities. And I recall that in my first visit after the political change in Syria, one of the key asks was to make sure that there would be channels of communication and interaction between UNDOF and the new Syrian authorities for the purpose of making sure that UNDOF would be able to operate. And this is something that has happened, and I'm very grateful to the Syrian authorities for that. And at the same time, I heard very clearly from the Syrian authorities that they are ready to assume the full authority of the whole of Syrian territory, including deploying the military and security presence to all Syrian territory. That includes the area where UNDOF is, of course, according to and in consistency with consistent with the provision of the 1973 agreement, but the clear message from the Syrian authorities was their readiness to assume fully their security responsibility throughout all Syrian territory in compliance with international law and again, more specifically, the 1973 agreement. And we welcome, of course, that expression of readiness. The goal that we are pursuing when it comes to UNDOF and our presence in Syria is a return to the full implementation of the 1973 Disengagement of Force Agreement with no presence other than that of UNDOF in the area of separation and consistent and compliance with the 1973 agreement when it comes to the presence of respectively of the IDF on the so-called Alpha side and the Syrian forces on so-called Bravo side. So this is really it when it comes to my visit to the Middle East. And again, I will be interacting with the Israeli authorities soon, as I do on a regular basis. And of course, the visit to Lebanon and the visit to Syria were taking place in the run-up to the extension or discussion on the extension of the mandate of both operations. Regarding UNDOF, the Security Council is about to make a decision fairly soon. It's imminent when it comes to Lebanon. Of course, the discussion regarding the extension of UNIFIL's mandate will take place in August. Perhaps just a word on the DRC, where, as you know, I mean, we have a MONUSCO present. We understand that the peace agreement between the DRC and Rwanda is facilitated by the United States is expected to be signed today at 1 p.m. in Washington, D.C. by respective Minister of Foreign Affairs. Of course, the signature has not taken place yet, but we would wish to place on record that we welcome these efforts and in fact we welcome all efforts to a de-escalation and the advancement of dialogue in the DRC and the wider Great Lakes region. Of course, as UN, and particularly when it comes to MONUSCO, we are fully committed to supporting these efforts and the implementation of the peace agreement. Again, signature has not taken place yet, but I just wanted to highlight our strong support to these efforts and our gratitude to the United States for being quite in the lead in those efforts, but also other stakeholders, Qatar, and certainly the important role of the African Union, Eastern African Community, and SADC. This is a very important and fruitful partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Deji, and then Ephraim.
Mr. Under Secretary General Shidachi with China Central Television. First, on behalf of the UN Correspondent Association, thank you for your briefing. You just mentioned that UNIFIL is going to extend its mandate in August. There are news that there are stories that Israel and U.S. might oppose for another extension of UNIFIL mandate. Have you ever talked to anybody from U.S. and Israel to stress the importance, and how are you going to persuade them? Or maybe your position, should it be extended or not? Thank you.
Right. Well, to the best of my knowledge, first of all, there is no final position, no position presented as final that has been expressed neither by Israel nor by the United States. I have mentioned to you the strong position that was recently made clear to the Security Council by the authorities of Lebanon. Of course, Lebanon is a host country. It's a powerful and important voice in this discussion. We too believe that